Page 4. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye joda zoge chonam la chanjo pardo dane gyapsu dage jinzo gebe zonam ge dola penjir sangye rubare sho. Sangye joda zoge chonam la chanjo pardo dane gyapsu che dage jinzo sonam ge dola penjir sangye rubare sho. Sangye joda zoge chonam Chanjo bardo dane gyapso che dage jinso kebe sonam dola benjir sanye rubarai sho. The next page. Om ye dharma heto prabhavam hetom tesham dathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashamanaye swaha Om ye dharma eto prabhavam etum tesham dathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashamanaye swaha Om ye dharma eto prabhavam etum tesham dathagato yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam vati mahashamanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, we go back to the text. Which verse we are reading? 33. 33, read, not read. Finish. 34. Page number? 124. 124. Okay. 34. For you, the fruit arises even in absence of Dharma and non-Dharma actions. Okay. So look, these reasonings, if it make total sense to you, that, Hello? Wow. Maria Angela is smart. Thank you. Okay. Say these reasonings given by Aranagarjuna, if they make sense to you, perfect sense, very good. If not, we study these, and this is a great opportunity for us to sharpen our intelligence. In the process, we revisit these teachings over and over again, these texts over and over again. And then over time, you see that these things make total sense to you. It's so profound and make total sense, which means that your intelligence has been activated. And this intelligence can be expected to understand emptiness. So emptiness is a very subtle phenomenon. It's not that simply because we delve into it, you understand it. No, we require law, we incredibly the sharp intelligence to fathom the depth of this, the concept of emptiness. Okay, so what is said here is that for you, the fruit arises even in the absence of dharma and non-dharma actions. So, say the fruits, happiness as fruits arise from dharma. Miseries as fruits arise from non-dharma. If things exist objectively, then they things should exist independently. If things exist independently, then the fruits should not depend on the causes, dharma or non-dharma causes. We see the fruits, so these fruits should arise independent of the dharma and non-dharma. Dharma and non-dharma should have nothing to do with the fruits, experience of happiness. And in fact, yes, many of us, when we go through miseries, we feel that it's so unfair that I'm going through these miseries. Some people who believe in God, they think that God is so unfair. I did not do anything bad. Or some people who are so naive as a Buddhist, they think that, oh, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, they're so unfair, you know. So this is a clear indication that we don't really understand the concept of dependent origination, emptiness. Emptiness means emptiness of independent existence. Things are dependent existent. And whereas if things are objectively real, then the things should be independent. If they're independent, cause and effect, they should have nothing to, they should not be dependent on each other. So the cause and effect cease to operate as cause and effect. If that is the case, then all the experiences that we have, happiness, misery, so forth, they should arise randomly. Random means then say, you think that, oh, I didn't do anything bad, and then all the bad things happen to me. So the lower karma it's faulty, it's deceptive, it's wrong. I believed in it is wrong. Buddha's words, they don't exist. Look, this is what is happening to me. This is a very narrow way of thinking. For example, say like somebody, each one of us, say when you're in your very young age, like age 10, 11, 12, and you jump and you fall, you break your leg, and as a young child, young boy, young girl, you will recover your bones. Your bones will recover very fast. But when you reach age 50, 60, then you start to feel the pain. Where once you had the fall, once you had the injury, once you had the bone broken, so there you start to feel the pain. You may think, why this pain? Why? So this is because the seed is already planted many years ago. You're unaware. The daughter said that this is the problem. When you during your young days, did you fall? Did you have a major fall? Did you have a major injury? You think about it, and then you realize, yeah. So you're getting it? So it's not random. It's not random. They're related to what happened in the past. In other words, all experiences, they are related to the cause and effect. These are the results given us by the causes, and including me, not only you. Includes the people who were once seen as so prosperous, so successful, the kings and queens. They had all the whole wealth of the kingdom. Yet they can go through extremely tragic death where another kingdom invades you, conquer you, and then you are put to guillotine, execution. Whole royal family members die. So this can happen to anybody. So when these bad things happen to us, tragedies happen to us, not only you, I'm telling you, but I should also think of myself when it happens to you and to me. Instead of saying, what is this, it's unfair, and so forth, your agitation will build up. Your agitation will build up, or you already have a problem, and the problem increases. As the agitation builds up, this agitation and anger and so forth, they consume your immunity. And your health will go down instantly. So therefore, it is not doing anything good. Whereas if you know this dependent origination, if you study it so well, reflection so well, and then yes, if you look at the world, how the world operates, and we see that world is operating not randomly, but it's on basis of the cause and effect. Cause and effect. Your confidence, conviction in the efficacy of the cause and effect builds up. Then gradually, when something bad happens to you, instantly two things can happen. Instantly, oh, it's my own karma now ripening on me. Number one. So that way, say for example, which will make you more irritated. Say, let's say that you just provoke a person A, and the person A becomes so angry and slaps you. Person B, you did not provoke, but the person B slaps you for no reason. For which of the two you would feel more angry? To person A or B? Person B. Why not to person A?
Because you know the reason why he slapped you.
Because it's me, who made him to slap is me. But I provoked him first, so now this outcome. Although I don't like him slapping me, right? But the person B, what did I do? Why did you slap me? Okay. So we see when you see that you are to be blamed, your actions to be blamed, your agitation will be much less. You're getting it? When you see that, no, I didn't do anything. What did you do? Slap me. I'll sue you. Right? So then agitation builds up. So therefore, whereas in reality, the thing is, although whatever the immediate cause is, may not be responsible. You may not be in the immediate sense. You may not be responsible for your pains, but if you think of the long term, then you see that somehow your karma is involved. Your karma is involved in your experience of pain. So when you acknowledge this, your agitation will subside. Your agitation subsides. Also, there are physical pains and so forth happening to you, but mentally you are calm and peaceful. Okay. Then the higher level of thinking is that even this karma, who made me to accumulate this negative karma of now having to experience this bad result? It's because of the self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. Then you feel, if at all, you should be angry towards somebody, you feel angry towards the self-centered attitude, self-grasping ignorance. So when you're angry, what do you want to do? You want to exterminate the two. You're not bad. You're not bad. Self-grasping ignorance, self-centered, these two are bad. These two are to be blamed. These two are to be exterminated. You exterminate these two things, and you become like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. You become the Buddha, where everybody loves you and where you can benefit everyone. You're getting it? So you are not bad. Never ever underestimate yourself. Never ever be rude to yourself. Never ever be harsh on yourself. So if at all you want to be harsh at somebody, be harsh at the two demons. What are the two demons? Self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude. These are the two demons which make you to suffer, right? And so, for example, usually the cases, for the people who are aged like a little over 20, 25, then 30s, right? They tend to blame their parents so much. They tend to blame the parents so much. The poor parents, they love you so much. If you don't believe, once I was teaching at the Emory student, there was like, I think about 2003, Venerable Tenzin, how many years ago? 2003. Yes, 20 years. Oh, look, that time I was 20 years younger than what I'm today, right? Oh, it was a shock in Tismling, right? Okay, 20 years ago. Oh, 20 years ago, when I was teaching students from America as a part of the one semester, they took the semester. They used to take the semester in Dharamsala. From America, they come to Dharamsala, take one semester there, 3 months, and then they go for 1 or 2 months for field trip, and then they have to write dissertation. And after 5 months, 3 months of course and 2 months of field trip, what do you call it, field studies, field trip, whatever. After completing, then the students, these American students, they one by one, they come to me to just say bye. And we became very close to each other. And there was one boy who came to me and said that, Geshe, now we're all leaving for America. We completed our course here. And then from us, there's particularly one girl who is to leave 1 week in advance. And yet, she doesn't want to return. I said, why? Then the boy said that because she has very difficult relationship with the mother. And why she has to go early? Because the mother suffering from cancer. Yet she doesn't want to go because the relationship with mother is not good. I said, okay, this is for all of us. So we talk about the philosophy, we talk about the emptiness, we talk about Aranigarjuna. Finally, the charity begins at home. We have to start from the home, So the real thing, transformation of your emotion, it should start from the scratch. We can't imagine, the impact creating in the space. Must be created within us, each one of us. Then the next day, the girl came. This girl came, and he said, they would call me Genla. Genla meaning sir, like, very affectionately in the Tibetan, this is a very beautiful word. Genla means like a sir, very affectionate way of saying, calling somebody a sir. I said, no, Genla, I have to leave 1 week in advance. I said, okay. And she said, but I don't want to go. I said, why? She said, I don't go along with my mother so well. Then I told her. And she was there. There was another classmate. Her classmate who was extremely, the jovial, was also there. And then I told her, I don't know your mother. So at the moment she's suffering from cancer. And you have to go there 1 week in advance, but you don't want to go. I don't know your mother, but I know you so well. For the last 5 months, I know you so well. I don't know your mother. But I can conjecture that your mother has done her job and you have not yet done your job. Look at you. You're such a young girl, aged 19, 20, so young, healthy, educated. This is proof that your mother has given the utmost care to you when you were so vulnerable, when you needed the help, mother's help. You received the maximum. And look at how healthy you are, how smart you are, how educated you are. This is all the proof that your mother did her job when you needed her the most. Now is the time she needed you. I don't know your mother. I've never seen your mother. I only know you. You have failed in your duty. So now if there's any complication, it has nothing to do with your mother creating problem on you. It's you failing to do your duty to your mother. Because you have already grown up. You're very strong, very healthy, very educated, which your mother made. Now your mother is desperate. She needs in need of help, and you are not wanting to go there. It's your failure. It's not her failure. In fact, I should actually take your side, but I should be very unbiased. I should not be biased. I should say that your mother is now in need of your help, and it is your duty to give support to her now. But this is what is lacking. And then she started to cry. And then I told her, if you don't believe what I'm saying, go back in time. You are 19 or 20 now. Go back in time when you're 15, when you're 10, when you're 8, 6, 5. Go back in time. Those days, you see the prospect of your mother leaving you for some reasons, for office work or for 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 day, 2 days, 1 or 2 days. You cannot contain your tears. You will just scream because you feel the pain of the separation. That is the amount of love that you received from your parents. You as a small child, this love that you received from parents. And today, your mother needs you and you're not there. You feel that I don't want to go. So you have failed in your duty. Actually, if I were to take side between you and your mother, I should take your side because that I know you very closely as friends, as my student. But I should not be biased. I should be very objective. From that point of view, you failed your duty. And you have received maximum love. And then gradually she started to cry. She started to cry. She said, now I realized it is my mistake. And then she said that, but my mother will not accept me. I said, if you have acknowledged that it is your mistake, this is the greatest achievement. Now don't worry. If you have acknowledged that it is your mistake, you have failed to do your duty to your mother. Mother did her duty already. Now it's very easy. Then I told her, you don't have to go in advance. First, you send her an email. In the email, you just say one thing, that now coming to Dharamsala, I realized the preciousness of you as my mother. Now I realize, since the time I was born till my age 14, 15, 16, I was so vulnerable. And you are there to give total love and affection towards me. You have done your duty. And yet, I failed to do my duty to help you. I regret. And I told her never ever to mention anything about your complication with the mother. I told this to her. And then she wrote a letter. And she said it took her 3 days to write one email to the mother. She wrote. And then the very next day, she came with so much of joy. She said that, Gela, now my mom has already accepted me. She got a reply back. It's beautiful. It's just how you look at things. How you look at things. If you look at from your shoes, from your point of view, from your shoes, no, she's very overprotective. She's doing like this, doing this, and so forth. You will never be happy. That's what Gejimbala Perona. Kunjimbala Pejo. Depesh. Game de. Depesh. Depesh de. Jimbal Depesh. You put the cushion here. Yeah, Jimbala, Depesh. This is Dagala. Come. Oh, yeah, Jimbal Depesh. They should. Oh, they should. Lazo Tujana Jimbala. Okay, Mr. Jimbala, he is my very dear friend, and he is the coordinator. He's the liaison officer or the coordinator of the Office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the coordinator in Southeast Asia. He is running the office, taking care of the office of His Holiness the Dalai Lama in Southeast Asia. And his amazingly bright daughter, this is Dagala. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. This is Dagala. Yes. So amazing, extremely bright, the girl. And you wouldn't believe, three of us were traveling together in Thailand, and she was just 13 years old then, 13 years old. And coming back, I learned one word, English word from her. Her English is just exemplary. She has amazing English. I learned one word from her. So we were so tired going around and coming back. And this girl told me, Gisela, now you're tired. Please go and chill out. So this word, chill out, I learned from this girl when she was 13 years old. Okay, this is Dalai. Thank you. I still remember this word, chill out. Okay. That's the Okay, so what I'm saying is that then this girl, he received a mail from the mother, and the mother already accepted her, and she was so happy. Then she left for America. She left for America. Just imagine what is like the spirit of this girl in the aeroplane. So much of joy, just so desirous to see the face of the mother. Otherwise, just getting closer and closer to America, she would be more and more unhappy. But now it's very different. She just feels like so happy, wanting to just see the mother as soon as possible. And then she was with the mother, and just imagine that every day, every morning, the daughter wakes up and looking forward to see the face of the mother. And the mother wakes up and looking forward to see the face of the daughter, and looking forward that the daughter comes to caress her hands and caress her face. Beautiful. So this was how time was spent between the mother and daughter for about like 3 or 4 months. That the mother lasted for the next 3 months and then passed away. And look, every moment of the two together, it was so beautiful moment. The mother was craving to see the daughter was craving to see the mother. It's so beautiful. This is magic. We can create this magic. This is all because of the understanding. Not look at things from your perspective. Learn how to see things from the perspective of the other side. The other has everybody suffering. While everybody's suffering, she's the one, that mother's the one who gives the ultimate benefit when you were so vulnerable. We have to remember that. Just go back in time and your attitude will change. Your attitude will change. If your attitude is aversion, so forth, one is because of love. Not because that you are angry. It's because of love and you become desperate. But so how to remove this desperation? How to build the beautiful, say the relationship? Just go back in time when you were so vulnerable, age 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when you're so vulnerable. In this world, only your two parents know you so well. Only your two parents are there to smile at you. Only your two parents are there to jump to help you, whatever problem, whenever you are in some problems. This is reality. We forgot those things. It's not that you don't love your parents. It's still, if you have some issue with your parents, it's not that you love your parents. You do love your parents. But unfortunately, what happened is that the human psyche is that the love, affection is a mental state. This mental state, when you are age 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, when you're so vulnerable, this feeling of the love and affection towards your parents, it's so intense and on the surface. It's on the surface, so visible. Then as you become more and more physically, more and more self-sufficient, then this imprint of the deep love and affection and then goes down. Rather on the surface, it goes down because that you are becoming more independent. Vulnerable meaning you are not independent, you are dependent. Vulnerable. Now because of the age, you become more independent. So become more independent. then they say the reliance on the parents is much less. And because of this imprints, this love and affection is not too relevant at that point. Because of this, if you're not careful, then these imprints, they don't disappear. They're there, very strong imprint is there. The love that you felt towards your parents is there. But it is from what is on the surface, it gradually goes down, not really remain on the surface, go down, and then it's not visible on the surface. And for small reasons, instantly you can just burst in anger, agitation, irritation, and corrosion, and so forth. Okay, so this is where we really need to think about. Okay, so with this, what I'm saying is that the inner life, charity begins at home. We talk about the philosophy, very complicated philosophy, or Nagarjuna's philosophy, and so forth, and the Buddhist teachings, very sophisticated Buddhist teachings. But we have to start somewhere, begin somewhere. That is, charity begins at home. From home, your parents, see how you can, say, learn how to look at things. Your parents, they're not like, as competent, as brilliant as His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Of course not. If they are like this, they're as popular as His Holiness. They are not. Which means that they themselves have so much of limitations, so much of problems. Despite that, they have given the maximum to you when you needed that. We have to remember this. Remember this, automatically your mind will be more, softened. Your mind will be tempered by the tenderness. Your mind will become more tender and more understanding. And then when you see your mom, when you see your dad, instantly the feeling of irritation will subside and will feel that you are so vulnerable when you're age 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And this is a person who is always there for me. Then feeling gratitude will come. When the feeling gratitude comes, there's a tenderness there in your mind. With this tenderness, your parents can see the body language, your facial expression. They can see your tenderness there, usually so rough and stiff. And now tenderness is there. And this is reflected because they could see the tenderness. They love you so much. They love you so much. Believe it or not. So this is one thing that I always observe. There was one gentleman, and he passed already, and he was really into alcohol. He's alcoholic, deeply into alcohol. And his mother, poor mother, she was already in her late 70s. She's always in the bed. And then of course, her son is like this in this situation. And one day I went to the mother. I sat next to her and I talked to her. Because it's not that I know her too well. So I know the mother through somebody, one of her children. And then so we have nothing to talk in common. So we have to say something about, how are you? And then one thing is about her son. So I said, of course, I met her son very briefly, and we know each other to some extent. So I told her that your son is amazing. Your son is so good. Instantly, there's a glow on her face, such a joy. She never heard it from anybody else because he's always in problem, alcoholic, always drunk, problem, and also a little rough. And I know why I said that he's amazing. It's not because that he doesn't have a problem, because everybody has some good qualities. So I was thinking about his good quality, and then I told mother that your son is amazing. And the mother simply started to glow on her face, and she said, "My son's good." I said, "Very good." That's such a joy. So look, the son's already in her 50s, and the mother is already hitting 80s. And yet the mother still sees that old man as a son, as her child. You're getting it? This is love that parents feel towards you. So when they say something, it's not to provoke you. It's all coming out of love and affection. But it doesn't mean that they are perfect. They are enlightened. What they say is perfect. There can be a little mistake here and there. But the intention is so pure. Look at the intention. From the intention side, you will see the value of this so precious. Okay. So this is the what we need to have in mind. Charity begins at home. Right? Okay. So okay now why I digress to this is because that we are talking about whenever we have some pains. One level of looking at is that is my own wrapping of the wrapping of my own karma that I did. Then your agitation will be much less. And the higher level of this is that even this accumulation of the negative karma, which now results in the form of pain, this negative karma is because of my self-grasping ignorance and self-centered, because these two demons. So these two demons, they made me accumulate negative karma. And this negative karma now, after all these many lifetimes, is ripening in the form of some pains on me. And then today you show anger towards your parents. You just unnecessary anger and so forth. You accumulate again new negative karma. And again, you have to bear the consequences. Why should we be unwise? You don't want this you don't want this pain. If you don't want this pain, why should you create more the causes of the further pains? Why should you not stop the future pains by not giving in to the causes of the pains? We should be wise. Okay, so in a way, it's like, say, for example, somebody shoot an arrow. Somebody shot an arrow from distance. So the arrow will instantly hit the target, or it will take a little time. It'll take a little time. You're getting it? So further the distance, more the time it'll take. For example, the light from the various world systems, galaxies, they take millions of years to reach the planet Earth. You're getting it? And the arrow and the light, which is faster? Light is way faster, still they take millions of years. So we have actually shot so many arrows of negative karmas from the past lives. And all these arrows are flying in the air. Anytime they can hit us. You're getting it? And when they hit us, it hit us in the form of, when the arrow hits you, are you happy or not happy? So painful. So all the pains are because of the arrow of the negative karma, which we created ourselves in the past life, that they hit you and that you suffer. You're getting it? Okay. Now we see that. So who's responsible now? The one who created the karma, the arrow of the karma, who shot the arrow of the karma, is also responsible. And one who makes you vulnerable to feel the pain now. Two things. So initial cause who shot the arrow of the karma is because of your own self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. These two are the two things. A particularly self-centered attitude. And the arrow was given to you by the self-grasping ignorance. And it was shot by self-centered attitude. You're getting it? Okay, now the arrows, how many arrows are there in the air? Coming towards you, towards me, you. How many arrows are there? Millions of arrows are there. Anytime it can hit you, right? Very scary, yes. You want to be affected by the arrow or not? No. If not, what should you do? Huh? You should put armor, right? You should put armor. Then the arrow hits you, they will fall. Hit you, fall. You are not affected. You have to put the armor. What's the armor? Armor is the armor. What is the opposite of armor? Where your body is so weak, vulnerable. That is the lack of armor. So what makes you vulnerable, weak to receive these arrows? Self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. You're getting it? So self-grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude of the past shot the arrows to you. Self-grasping, self-centered attitude of now makes you so vulnerable, makes you so, say, the vulnerable, the arrows hit and you die very easily. You're getting it? So what you do is that you protect yourself from the vulnerability. How? Say, the vulnerability because of self-grasping ignorance, Self-grasping ignorance, bring the wisdom of emptiness as armor. Vulnerability because of self-centered attitude, bring the armor of the bodhicitta. You're getting it? Other cherishing mind. So these two things intact, these arrows will continue to shot you because you already shot the arrows. Nobody can stop the arrows in between. Arrows are there. But when the arrows hit you, you will not be affected because you have the armor. You're getting it? Armor of wisdom of emptiness and the bodhicitta. What is the bodhicitta? Other cherishing mind. You're getting it? So other cherishing mind is so precious, so precious. Other cherishing mind, don't think of, at home you fight with the mother. At home you fight with the father. And then you talk about the, say, NGO, creating, NGO helping others, feeding the poor people, and human rights, right? And you don't know how to take care of parents. You fight with the parents. Well, what about human rights of your parents? Right? You're destroying the peace of the parents' mind. You're destroying the mind of the peace of the parents. And you talk about the human rights, and so forth. Charity begins at home. So this other cherishing is so precious. You're getting it? For your own good, not for your parents. For your own good, other cherishing is the armor to stop the pains of the pains otherwise created by the arrows shot by your own negative karma from the past life. Okay. So these are things that we need to keep in mind. So from this, we see that self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude, they are so vicious. They shot the arrows from distance. Now you receive the arrows with effectively being harmed because of this self-grasping ignorance, self-centered attitude. If you don't want this, you have to put on the armor of wisdom of emptiness and the other cherished mind of bodhicitta. Wisdom of emptiness, so what we are studying this is so precious. So see, in our life, if we can practice the wisdom of emptiness as much as possible, and bodhicitta, other cherished mind of the bodhicitta as much as possible. So these are the practical tips that we need to keep in mind. Okay, which verse I'll be reading now? 30? 34 done.
Yeah, that's about 35.
35. If for you a fruit arose from Dharma or non-Dharma actions, so in the first place what we said is that the fruits arise from good fruits, unwholesome fruits, wholesome fruits, they arise from the Dharma and non-Dharma actions. But if the fruits exist objectively, then how could that fruit of Dharma or non-Dharma be non-empty? Meaning that where things are objectively real, cause and effect is not possible. If the cause and effect is possible, then things should not be objectively real. So how can not be empty? Not be empty meaning they should be empty of objective existence. Good. 36. 36. If emptiness by virtue of dependent arising, if you denigrate emptiness of objective existence, this would contradict all worldly conventions. Because if you denigrate the emptiness of objective existence, then you have to accept objective existence. If you accept objective existence, you have to accept independent existence. If things are independent and real, cause and effect is not possible. Whole functionality of the world is operating on the basis of cause and effect, and you are denigrating all the conventions of the world. 37. If emptiness itself is rejected, no action will be tenable. So actions are possible. Actions, you remember last time what we did? Agent and the object and the action. Benefactor, beneficiary, and act of benefiting. So benefactor is the agent, and the beneficiary is the object which receives your benefit, and the act of benefiting. These three are mutually dependent. They are not independently real. They are mutually dependent. If things are objectively real, if things are independent and real, then these things cannot operate like this. So you cannot account for the agent, you cannot account for the action, you cannot account for the object. 37. If emptiness itself is rejected, no action will be tenable. You cannot account for the actions or karmas. There will be action that did not begin. So action means, say, can you think of any action? Can you think of any action?
Running.
Running. Let's say running means that you're first not running, and then you take the steps. And take steps fast is known as run, right? Running. So running, this action begins somewhere. It begins somewhere. So if begin somewhere means why it began, let's say, today's what? 4th April, let's say 4th April. Say the action begins at 4th April. Why it did not begin on 3rd April? Why 4th? Because the cause of this action is only immediately before the 4th April, not before the 3rd April. You're getting it? So the cause, which means that there's a cause-effect relationship there. So without the cause, if things are objectively real, then you cannot account for the cause. Okay. If 37. If emptiness itself is rejected, no action will be tenable. Then the cause, without the cause, then the action cannot come into existence. There would be action that did not begin, meaning that if the action exists, if you say that these things exist objectively and still the action exists, means it exists independently. If it exists independently, it should exist at all times. If it does not exist, it should not exist at all. So these are the two reasons that we need to keep in mind. If things exist independently, if the object exists, it should exist at all times. If it does not exist, it should never exist. So these are the two premises that we need to remember related to things if you posit things to exist subjectively. Okay. 37 again, line 3. There would be action that did not begin, and there would be an agent without action. Agent without action. Otherwise, agent, action, object, these three are mutually dependent. But if things exist objectively, then these three things should be independent. Independent means even without action, you should be able to account for the agent. 38. If they were self-nature, if things exist objectively, or if there's objective existence, migrators would not arise, not cease. Migrators mean sentient beings. So sentient beings arise, cease one time. I think it was in a Gandhian institute, some in Varda, and he said that you are saying that the mind never arises new. So this mind, on the basis of the rebirth, the mind comes from the former lives. So if what you said is correct, then why on the planet Earth the number of the population is increasing all the time? Right? Where are these new minds coming from? This was a question asked. Okay, so the point is that yes, of course, this is not the only planet which sustains life. Of course, in the solar system, I would say that in solar system, this is the only planet which sustains life. But if you think of the whole Milky Way galaxy, our solar system is just a tiny, tiny, tiny dot. Considering the massive Milky Way galaxy, and the Milky Way galaxy itself is a tiny, tiny, tiny dot in the face of the unimaginably huge visible universe. And this visible universe is just a tiny dot in the eyes of the whole universe. So in other words, the Buddha taught that if you look at these Milky Way galaxy, they're innumerable world systems, and science cannot penetrate. We cannot really explain even this tiny solar system. So we are trying to go to Mars. Even the Mars, we cannot explore everything. Just the spaceship landed on the Mars, that's it. And say that we have touched, right? So let's say some UFO unidentified object flies and lands into something, you say, oh, we have seen the Earth. People laugh at you. There's a very tiny spot in the planet Earth. Planet Earth, there's so many different kinds of landscapes. Okay. If there was self-nature, migrators would not arise nor cease. If there's objective existence, then the sentient beings, they should remain independent. If they're independent, they should remain whatever they are. They should not change at all. So the sentient beings should not arise, should not cease. Arising means by the means of cause, ceasing, result, ceasing, when the causes, or no, when the results arises, when the causes ceases. Okay, so the ceasing of the cause and the results arising is because of the dependency. So if the dependency is not there, ceasing and arising would not be possible. Then the migrated sentient beings would not be arising and ceasing, and in which case we see that, okay, now this person has taken, this person died, this person must have taken birth. For example, like at the time of the Buddha, the Mugliana's mother passed away. Mugliana's mother, of course, was a sentient being and passed away, and Mugliana was wondering where she might have taken birth. And then he used his clairvoyant, he uses power, miracle power, clairvoyance, to see where her mother had taken birth. And then he could not see that. And then he approached the Buddha, and Buddha instantly said that your mother has taken birth in this world system, which is this much distance from our planet Earth. The Buddha. So in that place where the mother was not there, and then the mother died from here and took birth there, which means arose there and ceased here. So ceasing and arising of the sentient beings. So these will not happen if things exist objectively. 38. If they were self-nature, migrators would not arise nor cease, and hence would assume a steady state. Then everything should become very static. Static, no movement, no change. There would be absence of all varieties. Varieties meaning that, say, for example, look at the people here. People, although we all are human beings, but you know, if there are 100 different people, 100 different, the eye lenses are there, how 100 different, say, the bodies are there. So why these varieties come into existence? Because of the varieties of causes. Varieties of causes, which means that this variety is possible only by dependence on the varieties of causes. So cause effect. Without cause effect, this variety is not possible. But the reality is that this universe is full, the innumerable varieties here. 39. If the world were not empty, then the unachieved would not be achieved. So if this world were not empty objectively, if they were to be objectively real, then what is unachieved will always remain unachieved. What is achieved will forever remain achieved. So then the unachieved would not be achieved. For example, you not having achieved Buddhahood will always remain as unachieved. You will never become Buddha. You not achieved as, let's say that somebody, is there anybody in school or in college? Raise hands. Okay, in college, and then you, what? Why you in college? To achieve something? You have not achieved, you had achieved, not yet achieved. Forever you remain unachieved if things exist objectively. Okay. The act of ending suffering. Okay, now look. What's the purpose of all these practices of the Four Noble Truths? Is to end the suffering. End the suffering. For this, we have to identify the suffering, abandon the cause of suffering, and the abandoning afflictions, to end the suffering by abandoning the cause of suffering, like afflictions. Say they would not exist if things exist objectively. Number 14. Whoever sees dependent arising, in short, only if you see things as empty of objective existence, empty of independent existence, then you see dependent origination. Only when you see dependent origination, then you see the suffering is tenable. Also see suffering is tenable Its origin, the cause of suffering is tenable, its cessation is tenable, and the path leading to cessation is tenable. So, where you're able to posit the emptiness of objective existence, all phenomena are tenable. You can posit all the functions of the world as infallibly as valid. If not, then you end up in all the contradictions. Okay, so we're done with chapter 24. Okay, then the afternoon session, there's a little bit of practical things, particularly meditation on emptiness. It's how to meditate on emptiness in a brief way, in a very quick way. Some tips, like 5-point meditation on emptiness, which I drafted. I'd like to share with you, with the other some sharings. Okay, then we will end with the song offering. Yeah, okay, we'll stop here. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswatyadam Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswatyadam Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswatyadam Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgate Bodhiswatyadam. Okay, three processes together.